Ed was in a lot of foul trouble, and he actually fouled out with like 7 minutes to go. So Vandy was having to play a lot of those 5 minutes, and that was a lot
That's
of the
not
reason
Vandy.
why in the first half. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of the reason in the first half that Andre Drummond is scoring a lot.
Yeah, and I want to touch more on Vanderbilt because we've been very high on Vanderbilt this whole season. I was gonna get a Vanderbilt jersey, but I don't. You can't do that, which unless I customize it, which I'm not willing to do that. Maybe I'll start a GoFundMe in the link. But the thing about Vanderbilt is he's not a 5 and he's not a starter right now. Just the way our roster's built, he's not a starter and he's not a 5. So he's not going to be the player that we need him to be unless he's coming off the bench at the 4. And that's just the sad fact it is.
And that's not a knock to Vanderbilt
No.
whatsoever, because we're so high on Vanderbilt, and eventually maybe he is a plug-in at that 4, but he's got to learn to shoot a little bit better. But the reason we love Vanderbilt is so much is because he has the ability to swing games in the opposite direction when something's going bad for us. But
Mhm.
the only way he can do that is coming off the bench, because he'll have a lot more energy. He's a high energy player, and when you play him starter minutes, he's not going to be able to make those huge plays that he makes off the bench just because he's playing starter minutes.
And when we look at his comparison, Dennis Rodman didn't make a splash in the league for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't an amazing player right out of the gate. It took him a few years. So that's the path we see Vanderbilt going because we see him finishing his career right along Dennis Rodman in the Hall of Fame. That's what I see. At least I don't know about everyone else.
So the Vanderbilt Hall of Fame comparison for Peyton, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I think Vanderbilt would be a perfect backup 4, and I'm so glad he made his way into the rotation, because he deserves it for
He
sure
does.
to be the 4. I think him and Nas, once Cat comes back as the bench 4 and 5, is an incredible bench lineup.
I
I
mean, yeah,
think that is great.
our bench is the number one bench in the NBA. I don't know if it still is after last night, but during the Sixers game, that graphic came up on the screen that we have the number one scoring bench in the NBA. And we've been saying